So they're going to be in there the 7th, 8th, and 9th of July. So that's about a week away. And in doing so, things have gotten a little complicated, as we discussed. As you get closer and closer to time, and you see these cases continue to be a problem in Florida, and Florida starting to enact, I think rather late to the party, but trying to enact some measures to slow the spread of the disease. You've seen some folks come up positive, some more folks. DeAndre Jordan and Spencer Dinwiddie, both saying that they have contracted the coronavirus. They both are out of the restart. I think DeAndre Jordan is definitely out, and Spencer Dinwiddie is not officially out, but I don't know. I would say given the 2-week time frame plus his love of he's a very financially intelligent guy. I could see him kind of opting out based on all of that. DeAndre Jordan is definitely out, and so you can add 2 more to the mix. Wilson Chandler is also out for the Nets. So the Nets are missing 3 pieces, including, in Dinwiddie, well, potentially 3. Again, he hasn't ruled himself out officially, but we'll see how it goes. But Dinwiddie is a 20-point a game guy. He's had a really good year, and so he's he's a big part of what they do. Chandler and DeAndre Jordan less so, but still pieces of the rotation. And Chandler had gone to the starting lineup prior to the quitting of the season based on all this. So not that the Nets were looking like a superstar championship contender, but you can probably go ahead and cancel those bets if you had those bets on the Nets winning the title. Cancel those.
As long as Karis LeVert is still there, they got a shot. He can play them into a game, boy. He's great.
Boy.
And I was going to say no, but seriously, no. But I am serious about Karis LeVert.
He's very good. He's very good.
Like, what's the point of them being there? What's the point of 20 teams being there? It just doesn't make sense. The Nets weren't going to get out of the first round of the playoffs anyway. Why are they down there? 20 teams, I get it. I get trying to make up the money that you stand to lose, and that's why they're down there. But from a safety standpoint, from a legitimate chance to get to the finals or go on a playoff run, why are the Nets there? They got 8 games. They'll play 4 more and be out. They got 12 games. Maybe they win a couple in the playoff series, 13, 14 games. Like that's it.
I don't know. I think that might be optimistic.
That's it. There's no reason for them to be down there outside of the money, and that's why this thing is going to keep going forward, because everybody stands to lose an absurd amount of money on it if they don't play. But from a safety standpoint, from a competition standpoint, it makes no sense for most of these teams to be down there. And think about what we're going to say if something happens, and I don't even want to call it fluky, because it's not. This is so strange that anything can happen. And think about what it's going to mean if a team like that wins the NBA Finals, like the Pacers goes out there and wins the Finals, or the Thunder goes out there and wins the Finals. Are we really going to take that seriously? No.
Well, and again, this is something that our guy Zachary Benny, who we had on last week, the epidemiologist, he was on yesterday with Henry Abbott of True Hoop, and said he had an interesting thing to say about this whole thing. He said, everyone who talks about the outcomes for young people, and these are young elite athletes and all that stuff. I mean, never mind obviously the stuff with the coaching staff and other people that they may come into contact with, but his quote is, "You say these are young elite athletes, they have nothing to really worry about." No, say what you really mean, which is the risk is low enough that that some of these elite athletes are going to have bad outcomes, and that's not enough to deter you from wanting to see them play. Mm-hmm. And that really was what it comes down to. If this bubble or the resumption of activity leads to a handful of people getting seriously sick, because odds are you're seeing tons of cases. Mm-hmm. Hospitalizations are up. In Texas, they were up to the point of ICU where they took the information down because they just I mean, didn't want, I guess, to look bad. I don't know. I mean, they were at 100% ICU usage as of 4 or 5 days ago. And these are not all old people. These are all, many of them, over half of them, in fact, are, under the age of 50 at this point. So, it does happen. Hospitalizations, just because you don't die from something immediately doesn't mean that it's something you want to go ahead and get. A lot of people got polio and didn't die from it, but it also, greatly affected their lives in one way or the other for the rest of their lives. Rudy Gobert is still talking about how the guy, he can't smell things. And it's been, 3 months for him. There's a swimmer that was an elite South African swimmer who says that it was unbelievable to lung capacity and just wrecked training and workouts and just wrecked. This is an absolute top level, Olympic level swimmer. That's somebody that's got the lung capacity that would be, among the top 0.00001% in the world, and said it wrecked him completely. So what we're saying when you come back is, okay, we're okay with, a dozen people around the country getting real sick from this thing or having, significant long-term outcomes. And there may be others that may get other outcomes we don't know. But I'm just saying that from what we even know right now, odds are that it would be a number in that neighborhood with basketball, and then a number in, significantly more than that with college football and so on and so forth. So, you got to say what it is. Like, just say, look, at the end of the day, I think, entertainment is more important than keeping those folks 100% safe. And that's why I can't really blame someone who says I'm just going to opt out of this thing, because it's not worth it to me.
Yeah, and I agree wholeheartedly. And it's just not, man. Like, what is it going to take? And this is the other part of that conversation. What's going to have to happen for them to decide, what, it is no longer worth it? It's how many people are going to have to be seriously hospitalized because of the coronavirus complications? How many cases are going to have to, because there are going to be cases inside that bubble? How many cases are going to have to be in the bubble before you decide, what, nope, is no longer worth it? That is what is needs to be answered. You're thinking about all these various states. You brought up Arizona and Texas and Florida and what they're going through. And we're talking about the NBA restart right now in Orlando. But what about MLB? Arizona, Texas, Florida, that's where they wanted to pit their two bubbles. What about college? Arizona said, the governor said, you know what, we got to shut this thing back down. We got to shut down gyms and shut down gatherings of more than so many people. Well, hell, Arizona's got a football game they got to get ready for come August. They can't practice. They can't work out. Does it make sense to have Pac-12 football without Arizona State in it? This is, I get it. There's money on the line here, but it is not going to feel like sports that we've come up with, that we've known and loved all these years. It's not going to feel the same. It's not going to be a reprieve from what's going on out there. And you are going to be putting people's lives on the line and putting people's lives at risk. I don't think you can put a price on human life, but it looks like we are doing it. We have found that price, and it is this. For the NBA, for the players, and the Players Association, it is $1.2 billion. That is the price. We will get out there and play in extreme circumstances for that $1.2 billion, because we don't want to affect the CBA going forward. We got a pretty sweet deal on the CBA. We don't want to affect it going forward. But, man, just take a step back and think a little bit before you get out there and do that and see if it's really, truly worth it.
I mean, that's the question. Is it worth it on that in that sense? And you mentioned Arizona, because of the nature of their cases right now, and because the state yesterday took a 30-day pause on gyms, restaurants, bars, etc. Now, because of the workout situation, because of the gym situation, the University of Arizona says, "Well, now what do we do? We have, do we count as a gym? Do we get like a do we get like a permit, or do we get some kind of a exception to this?" They don't know, and they obviously if they're not able to practice or do anything for 30 days, that puts them right up to the end of July and into early August, and they were trying to start activities July 6th. They've got their scheduled opener is August 29th. But again, that's going to eat into 3 weeks into that. You could just see the effects continuing to kind of domino on this. And everyone, the truth is that all these teams and all these situations are just one or two outbreaks away from being stopped. It's all, Arizona was doing fine until they weren't. Everything was cool until it wasn't. That's what this is. You had the governor of Florida taking a victory lap a month ago about how everything was great and where were the cases and it was under control and blah blah blah. And now it's one of the hottest zones in the world. If you don't, we have seen enough to know what slows this thing down. And if you don't do it, and some of this is truly on an individual level, that's the other thing. You could put the mask ordinance in place. Now, does it need to have a little more power to it? I think so, probably. I mean, based on what I've seen. But, I did a little poll yesterday, CJ, you may have seen. And, it's still going on if you want to check out my Twitter feed to see. I'm just curious how well is the mask observance or how well is the mask ordinance being observed where you are. And so far in the voting, got over 550 votes, and it's basically half and half, with 51% being either most folks are wearing them or masks are everywhere, and 49% being a few people are wearing them, but there's no masks in sight wherever you go. And this is after the ordinance. And I would really like that to be, much closer to 90-10, 80-20, something like that. Not, I mean, obviously not everyone is going to wear them. There's always going to be a few people who just refuse to. But if you can get it up to the 80-90% mark, then you can do a significant damage to the ability to spread. And that's what we're looking for. And right now, this kind of goes along with my experience so far in just being around town and seeing it. It's just very inconsistent. There's some areas of town where it's being pretty well observed and pretty reasonable. I've been to a couple places where most everyone had them, and then I've been to 2 or 3 places where nobody had them, and no one seemed to care, and there was no enforcement. So again, if you have those kinds of conditions, then you're not going to be able to stop it.
It's weird with the whole mask wearing thing, because I have gone to parts of town one day and nobody's wearing it, and go back the very next day and everybody's wearing one. And I go to another part of town one day and everybody's wearing one, go back the following day, nobody's wearing. Like, I don't know what the psychology is behind time, location, and all of that, what that has to do with people wearing masks. I just know sometimes I go out and it's like, oh, look at this. The world has come to its senses a bit. Everybody's got these masks on. It's beautiful. And then I go out other times. It's like, why is nobody in one? Mm-hmm. Why is this happening? What are you thinking about? Like, are you thinking about life as we know it being like under attack from this? Because it is. Are you thinking about maybe not having a football season, college or professional, because people aren't wearing masks? Enough people aren't wearing masks, aren't doing the things to keep the coronavirus from spreading? Are you thinking about that? Because if I ask most of the people who aren't wearing masks, hey, do you like football? Yes. Who's your favorite team? Blah, 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 blah. You might want to wear this mask so that your favorite team can get out there and play, don't you think? Because if you don't, you run the risk of catching it and spreading it, or already having it and spreading it and raising that case count. And then it's not going to be safe to be out there playing sports, football, baseball, basketball, or other sports. It's just not. It's going to be weird, because this is the other part behind it. Like, there's no clear leadership. Everybody's out doing their own thing. So you could very easily have a situation where Illinois is playing, Wisconsin is playing, but Ohio State, Michigan aren't playing. Penn State isn't playing. You could have an issue where Oklahoma's playing, Oklahoma State is, but none of the schools in Texas, not Texas Tech, not Baylor, not TCU, not Texas A&M, none of them can play because their state's coronavirus caseload is so high that it will be putting them at severe risk. Who wants to watch that type of college football season? What is that going to look like? What is that going to feel like? You're sending NBA players down to Orlando. You're sending MLS, you're sending the Women's Soccer League down to Orlando. You're going to try and put Major League Baseball in Orlando. What's going to happen, though? WWE is in Orlando. What's going to happen when those cases, if those cases in Florida get up so high that it's just not feasible to put people in Orlando to have them go out there and compete and risk their lives?
Well, and again, I point out before we take a break, the folks in Arizona yesterday just told hospitals that they are implementing what they call the Crisis Standards of Care Plan, and what that means for everybody. And this is I want people to understand what's happening in Arizona right now. They have now a score system that is in place because resources have been pushed to the limit, where they are doing a point total based on your age, your likelihood of survival. You add 4 points if you are expected to die within 1 year despite successful treatment, 2 points if you're expected to die within 5 years, or 0 points if you're expected to live more than 5 years. And if you end up with this point system plus another point system based on your comorbidities and all that stuff and your age, if you end up with a higher score, you end up in triage color blue, which is a lowest priority situation where you may not get critical care because they don't have enough, and so the people in red and yellow are going to go before you. That's where we are right now. This isn't Italy or whatever. This is Arizona. This is in our country. That happened last night. They put that into place. So we don't need that. We don't need that here. No one else needs that. You hope that is, doesn't have to actually be used, but they gave the go-ahead to hospitals last night because of their situation, and that's why they are having a 30-day shutdown of basically everything. They're going back to a lockdown for 30 days in many cases. We don't want that. But that can't happen. So take it seriously. There's another reason why it's complicated for Fred VanVleet. He had some really thoughtful things to say. We'll hear from the Raptors guard and former Wichita State Shocker when we return. Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1, 87.7.
Check out Dave Voloshin and Brett.
We have much to discuss. We've already talked about the potential issues for restarting. Ian Desmond, who is what is he, CJ?
Huh?
What's Ian Desmond?
Oh, everybody knows Ian Desmond. He's the
what does he do for a living?
Plays baseball for the Rockies.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, listen, I gotta stop telling you things before the break. Did you read his Instagram story? It was quite a lengthy piece. I would have expected to be in the Players Tribune or something. This was quite a lot to write for an Instagram, but it was very very thoughtful, very interesting. He says he's opting out because of the pandemic, also because of the social justice fight that continues to go on. He is going to be in Sarasota. He's born in Sarasota, Florida. He's going back to Sarasota, Florida, which of course was also the home of Macho Man Randy Savage. In related news,
okay,
another great baseball player. Did you know that Randy Savage was a great baseball player?
No, I didn't know that
as well. He was a minor leaguer. So Desmond says he's going to be at his old little league, working with everyone to get it back on track. He says, with a pregnant wife and 4 young children, I have lots of questions about what's going on in the world. Home is where I need to be right now. But he goes through and mentions how baseball is not taking care of its youngsters, so that baseball's says, think about it. Right now in baseball, we've got a labor war. We've got rampant individualism on the field. In clubhouses, we've got racist, sexist, homophobic jokes or flat-out problems. We've got cheating. We've got a minority issue from the top down. 1 African-American GM, 2 African-American managers, less than 8% black players, no black majority team owners. Perhaps most disheartening of all is a puzzling lack of focus on understanding how to change those numbers. A lack of focus on making baseball accessible and possible for all kids, not just those who are privileged enough to afford it. If baseball is America's pastime, maybe it's never been a more fitting one than now. Woo!
Coming with that fire.
Bringing that. I mean,
okay.
He's not a pitcher, but he's slinging that heat right there. That's a fastball right over the plate to Major League Baseball. What are you going to do with it? What are you going to do with it, Rob Manfred?
Listen, you've got to start with grassroots campaign. That's why basketball works. That's why basketball has a high participation rate amongst black kids, because basketball understands the value of little league basketball. They understand the value of the AAU circuit. They get that. Nike and them understand that, hey, these guys at 9, 10, 11 years old, if they're playing our sport, then they'll probably continue playing it as they get older, and then we can have a talented pool to choose from. Baseball doesn't seem too concerned with having grassroots baseball little league programs. They just don't, to me. The travel league is cool. They travel league baseball is fine, and you have your sports with the travel leagues, and that's great if your parents can afford to put you in travel league. Everybody's parents can't afford that. So what's going on with baseball? How is baseball helping out the smaller little leagues? I played baseball at Stokes Field. You know, I had a lot of fun, a lot of teammates, and it was enjoyable. I enjoy playing baseball, but how many of those little leagues are out there or are around in various cities across the nation? I'm not sure. And how much backing do they get? How much support do they get? How much encouragement does the MLB give those leagues?
He said also he felt like as a biracial kid, he said, I dreaded filling out paperwork. I feared those boxes, white, black, or other. He said, I knew I wasn't walking around with the privilege of having a white skin, but being raised by a white mother, I had never felt fully immersed in black culture. But I always checked black because I felt the prejudices. That's what being black meant to me. Do you feel the hurt? Do you experience racism? Do you feel like you're at a disadvantage? Even in baseball, I'm immensely grateful for my career and for all the people that have influenced it. But when I reflect on it, I find myself seeing those same boxes. The golden rules of baseball: don't have fun, don't pimp home runs, don't play with character. Those are white rules. Don't do anything fancy. Take it down a notch. Keep it all in the box. That's part of it too.
Mm-hmm.
There's a ingrained culture of, that don't be exuberant. Don't have fun. Don't jump and fling your bat and do all this stuff. It's silliness. The kids, you want to have fun, but the issue, and you want to watch players having fun. You want to see John Morant, dunk on someone and then talk to him. You want to see him, get excited. He's not even really trying to show up to the opponent. He's just getting excited about something that he's doing. When you have excitement and then you get somebody thrown at your head the next time around, or somebody making comments about you, that's not fun. That's not a fun sport. It's not a fun thing to be part of.
Mm-hmm.
This traditionalist stuff is turning kids away from the game. It's no surprise that the average median age of the baseball fan continues to go up and up and up, because you're not replacing them with a whole lot of young folks. And the young folks that want to play, you mentioned the traveling teams. Well, guess what? If you got money, great. If you don't, you can't play.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have access to that kind of cash, traveling teams are very expensive. Every weekend, you're going to play, here, there, and everywhere. Mm-hmm. I mean, that's a whole different thing. And that's still going on in the middle of COVID, by the way.
Yeah.
We still got all that. That's a whole different discussion to have, but we're still having plenty of plenty of these, baseball, softball, all these other tournaments that are out there. If you got money, cool. You want to drop $1,000 or $2, have at it. If you don't, that's where basketball comes in. At the end of the day, man, most people got access to a gym and a hoop somewhere or another, whether it's through school or through an AAU program or through a church, somewhere in there. You got access to a basketball and a hoop, and that's all you need. Baseball, you got to have the bat, the cleats, the uniform, the whole thing, all that stuff.
And what?
And I'm not saying, 13, listen, I'm not saying travel.
People.
I'm not saying travel basketball can't get expensive. It can definitely get expensive.
No, travel basketball is expensive.
But there are so many more options for you, not in that traveling, to play at a very high level. You can play basketball at a pretty high level without playing in a traveling league. Now, if you're going to be an elite, super elite player, sure. But, for that next level up, where you can still just incorporate and be part of the action, is so much more accessible right now. It's so much more accessible. It just does not. It doesn't happen right now in baseball, not like it used to.
No, and it's those players or those kids who grow up playing your sport then become a fan of your sport, and that is why that is another part of the reason why the median age of baseball fans keeps going up. Like you're not getting enough kids playing your sport for a long period of time. Like you've got to have these little league ballparks where it's affordable and you get them young. I know a ton of people whose kids are playing t-ball, and I don't think any of them are going to play till they're 9 or 10. You got to find a way to keep those t-ball players in that league and keep them interested all the way through till like middle school. And then once you do that, you're good to go. You can get pretty good baseball competition from just dudes and dudettes in the neighborhood. Baseball and softball from boys and girls, couple mile radius, 10, 15 miles. As long as you've got enough kids, you're fine. A school district, just a zone for your respective schools. If you just get those kids interested in playing your sport, it helps you out for the long term, in the long haul. Bring interest to your sport, bring fans into your sport. And baseball just does not seem to understand that. And then you add on top of that the fact that you're not having fun. You can't celebrate without having somebody hit you. You can't be positively emotional without somebody taking it as you trying to show up an opponent or something like that. That's a turnoff. Young people don't want to be a part of that. Young people, I say we, but I'm not them. They like to have fun. Young people enjoy that type of stuff. They enjoy, you bring up John Morant doing he's too little, tell that Mother Nature about me. We enjoy that. We all do. We enjoy the back and forth. We enjoy the celebrations, the camaraderie of the Seattle Seahawks doing the new edition choreographed dance in the end zone. Like, we like those things. That's funny. That's charming. That shows a different side of the athletes and makes them more human in a way. And baseball is taking that away, and people don't like that.
No, watching the Little League World Series on ESPN, like 14, 15 years old, a part of me was like thinking to myself, like, I would have really enjoyed being a part of that. Like, not necessarily like showcasing my skills or anything, but just being able to play with like other people within the region. And I think I researched like the closest Little League World Series whatever team that I could be a part of, like if I was of age, and like the distance of that is like too long. And I knew
how though in Memphis, you would think the size of Memphis would be full of Little League ballparks, right?
But I guess the interest. I mean, unless you're not personally interested in it, then like you're not gonna be a part of it. Like I could guarantee you, like right now, like if you could walk in any neighborhood in this area, there's gonna be a football field. There's gonna be a basketball field. There's gonna be a couple of baseball fields in the area, because you're gonna have kids that may or may not be interested in it, but the majority of those kids are gonna be on those football fields either playing or practicing, or they're gonna be playing pickup basketball, or maybe even soccer. I'm gonna throw in the soccer fields as well, because you're gonna see kids at the parks, playing soccer.
Well, but the difference too, though, is also that when it comes to football and pickup football, just playing out in the field, and soccer, all you need is a field. You don't need anything else. You could do in a ball. You got to have a ball, obviously. So you can round up a ball. Somebody can get your ball, football, soccer ball, and you could put you can make little end zones. That's easy enough. Or you can make a little goal, put 2 sticks, whatever. There's your goal. That people have been playing like that. There's a wall. You can put a little thing on the wall, and you can put a soccer. I mean, you've been doing that. People have been doing that for decades. With baseball, you could do it a little bit, but typically the fields require a little bit of maintenance. You got to have somebody kind of taking a little bit of care of it, because you got to have dirt. You're not playing. You might swing or something, but you can't play on just regular grass. So you got to have a little bit of maintenance on those fields. And everywhere I drive around the city, more often than not, other than the major sports complexes which are out there, and there's every municipality's got 1 or 2, and there's a few in Memphis that are really well taken care of. A lot of them aren't, man. A lot of them are overgrown. A lot of them are just sort of nasty looking. The dugouts are like, and I'm sure wasp nests all over the place and everything else in there. It just doesn't look like there's been a lot of attention paid to giving these kids a chance to go and play baseball in those areas. Football and soccer, for good or for bad, whatever, you don't really need that much. In basketball, same thing. You just, somebody throw up a hoop somewhere and you got a little, you got that's pretty much all you need. And there's hoops. There's hoops to be found.
Yeah. I had opportunities you bring up Little League World Series. Unfortunately, it's not going on this year, but I had the opportunity of competing for a chance to go to the Little League World Series. So if you were the best player at your position,
look at you.
Yeah, if you were the best player at your position, and they liked your parents, they picked you for the district all-star team. And so your district, we were District 11, would play the other districts in your area, and then after, if you won the district, you would go to state. And so we won district, we killed them in the district, went to state, and double elimination tournament, lost by a combined score like 34-2. They could play. It was rough. But if we had won state, we could have won regions, and then winner of the state goes to regions, winner of the region goes to Little League World Series. So I was 2 steps away from being out there.
I mean, you're basically like me. I mean, in terms of the spelling bee. So I was 3 spellers away from going to the National Spelling Championships. It's right there, man.
So what were you, 3rd runner-up?
Yep.
So if everybody got sick, you could have went?
Yeah, if there had been an unfortunate food poisoning outbreak or something like that, then I would have gone. 3 other people had gotten sick, then I would have been right there.
Okay.
4.
Key word is unfortunate.
Yeah, it would have been very unfortunate.
Very unfortunate.
UNFORTUNATE.
Flex on them then.
E. coli.
I would have that one then.
I could do it if you want. Escherichia coli. What do you need?
Spell it.
ESCHERCHIACOLIFORM. Escherichia coliform.
Gosh.
Don't. Why are you trying me?
Whew.
I said don't try me.
I'm not trying you. I'm just marveling. I didn't think you could do it. This is amazing.
Unbelievable. Can't be trying me. Not
this
morning or any morning for that matter. But this is it's what Ian Desmond. I think I would encourage you to go and check out his Instagram. It's I_Des20, and the whole thing. It's very, like I said, it's very long. There's a lot more to it than we can even go over. But it's definitely heartfelt and worth thinking about. He brings up a lot of issues that are being discussed, and issues of race. Issues within baseball of race, issues outside of baseball, dealing with race, also with the virus situation, and just a lot going on. And so he's joined Ryan Zimmerman, who is not going to play, pitcher Joe Ross of the Nationals. Those are 2 Nationals players they're not going to play. Mike Leach, pitcher for the Arizona Diamondbacks, he's not going to play. Ian Desmond as well. There may be others, who knows, but it raises a few concerns, and obviously, with them not being in a bubble, the Texas Rangers had a big problem, and they've got a big issue, as a lot of folks do in Texas right now. With the outbreak, they have a whole bunch of people at their offices who are dealing with it, and so players pick up on all this, and they realize, man, it's tough. It's really, really tough. So I think you'll see more players do what Ian Desmond did. Maybe not necessarily for the same reasons or with the same level of thoughtfulness, but I think they'll make a similar decision.
Well, we'll see. We will certainly see. It's just gonna be odd, man. And you brought it up. Others have brought it up also. Where are you gonna put this thing? Where's your biodome gonna be? You gonna put your biodome if you're MLB in Texas? Well, that's hot right now. Mm-hmm. You gonna put in Arizona? That's hot right now. Florida? That's hot right now. But everybody's there. Where can you put a biodome and feel safely with your bubble? Because I don't know where that happens. So if I'm a player and I'm looking around and the MLB is, okay, we're coming back. Yeah, sure, great. But we're going to try and put in Arizona, Texas, or Florida. Like, no, that's just not going to work. But where else can you put it? I don't know. This is going to be every time one of these announcements get made about starting a season or restarting the season or opening something back up, the statement always leads to more questions. And the MLB has a lot of questions that they've got to answer going forward, and they've got to get those questions answered. Otherwise, players just aren't going to be comfortable and aren't going to want to compete.
That's it. You're gonna have to answer those questions for sure. We'll answer a question when we come back. That question will be what's going to come up on the wheel of conversation.
If only we knew.
We don't know yet. And also we're gonna look at why North Carolina is delusional. South Dakota similarly delusional at this point, and Iowa as well. A lot of delusion happening around the country. For whatever reason, banana pudding and barbecue go together like peas and carrots. Just perfect. So, by all means, go enjoy it. You want to go in? You can. They are there with the limited capacity for seating. But you can also do pickup as well, which is a great option. For you curbside, go get it. Take it back to the house and enjoy it. It travels wonderfully. 4 locations, downtown, central, Summer, East Memphis. You can see them there. Stop by as well on the old virtual. Take a little virtual trip. EatCBQ.com. They got delivery options available for you as well. Check out Central Barbecue. All right, so.
All right.
Let's see what it says here.
Oh, relationship advice was that?
Well, it's incredible.
Oh my gosh!
The gods have been smiled upon us.
Did you see
That's amazing.
It happened.
That spin was incredible.
Oh my gosh!
That spin was just unbelievable.
Oh my word!
How did that happen? What are the odds?
I don't know. What are the odds? It's been a long time.
Wow.
It's been a long time.
Wow.
Man. So if you got relationship questions for Zach, get them in now. 67129. Who couldn't benefit from some advice? I've definitely got a question for Zach. I'll start things off. Zach, how often should I be seeing my girlfriend? Once a week? Twice a week? Once every 2 months? How long, Zach?
This is your girlfriend, right?
This is your my girlfriend.
My girlfriend.
My girlfriend. How often should I be seeing my girlfriend?
This is a committed relationship apparently we have here. Not a dating. We're not just hey, we met on Tinder or whatever. Where this is a full blown relationship, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So how often should we meet? That's a great question, Zach. What do you think?
I don't know how often you should.
How often would you meet your girlfriend, Zach? You've had one of those before. How often did y'all meet?
My girlfriend?
Individually. One-on-one.
In an individual session.
In an individual session. How often?
In a one-on-one session.
So for me, I think about once every 3 weeks. Once every 3 weeks. Maybe once every 3 to 2 weeks. Cause we.
So you want me to kick it with my girlfriend once every individually?
This is your girl.
Once every 2 to 3 weeks.
This is your girlfriend, right?
Right.
Your committed partner relationship and whatnot. You're not dating around, correct?
Well, I mean, in the hypothetical sense,
in the hypothetical.
Yes.
Hypothetically, you are dating around?
No, you're not.
Okay, so while you have this girlfriend, you're not seeing anybody else.
You're not seeing anyone
in this hypothetical situation.
Right.
And you're saying that it is acceptable for you to see this person once every 2.5, 3 weeks.
Yeah.
What are you doing for the rest of the time?
You're talking to her. You're talking to her. And then on top of that, you're taking care of, your business.
What much business do you have to take care of?
You got things to do.
Are you in the army? Are you overseas? I get it. Like, if you're deployed somewhere, sure, you might see her once every couple months or something. Okay, all right, I get.
So Zach, go ahead.
What are you talking about?
I am a big. Well, for me, I'm always a big proponent of giving people their space. And so, even in a relationship, I still want to give you your space because you probably got things to do, and we'll hook up or we'll talk later on because you got things to do.
Yeah, like 3 weeks later on.
No,
things to do, like find another dude.
Like date someone else.
Like date somebody else.
I got other things to do. You're right.
Zach,
other
if
people.
You don't mind us
other people to do. Most likely.
Asking questions when you had a girlfriend. How often did y'all hang out individually?
Well, it was kind of hard. honestly, because I was in high school and I didn't have a car,
Okay.
and so we only got a chance to see each other like pretty much every weekend because she would go to my church.
Individually though.
Individually, yeah, that was hard.
Okay.
That was hard.
So the last girlfriend you had was in high school?
Yeah.
When you were batting 500?
Yes.
Okay. And how often did y'all hang out individually?
With her, it was very hard.
How often?
I can't put a number to it because
You put a number to it Friday.
Like that was Friday. Like that was because you was asking me. You was asking me how often do I go on dates with if I went on a date with the girl.
Mm-hmm. And how often was that?
And if that was like once every 2 months. Cause I had things to take care of in college. And so when I did get a chance to see her, it was typically most of the time on the weekends.
Is everyone listening to this?
Wait, I'm serious.
Am I the only one who's hearing? I mean,
Come on.
67129. Just y'all just.
But man blamed college for not being able to date. I've never heard that.
So many people have managed to go to college, date. Some people get married in college. I mean, people do all kinds of stuff in college. Sleep around, get COVID. I mean, the whole thing. There's a lot of people getting busy in college.
And listen, like if you,
we're listening. Don't worry about that.
If that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. Me personally, because at the time, because I just got my own car senior year of college.
Yeah.
And so,
and you wanted to drive the hell away from this girl. You said, I don't even want to. I don't want to spend any time with you.
No, I made efforts to try to spend time with her.
I made efforts to try to spend time with her. That sounds like
yes.
What does that even mean? What I made efforts to try to spend time with her.
That's a good question. What effort should I be making if I'm single or in the dating game to be trying to spend time with my lady or prospective lady? Like what effort should I be making, Zach? What does that look like, making that effort?
I mean, you just hit her up asking what her schedule is, what her schedule is, and then you just try to plan around that.
That's beautiful.
What's some good date ideas, Zach? You got any?
Hey, baby. What's your schedule?
Like,
can we plan around your
not
work
off the top
schedule?
of my head. Right?
I'd like to schedule a date opportunity for 3 weeks in the future.
I have done that before.
Bear in mind.
I've done that.
Wait, stop. Hush. Don't laugh at this. This is serious. Your boy's out here scheduling dates for 3 weeks in the future.
Yes.
3 weeks out?
Unbelievable.
Yes.
So what's that mean? Like you call her up today, like, hey, it's June 30th. What you doing July 17th, July 21st? What's your window like then?
Yeah. I would tell her in advance, like, hey, I don't know what your schedule is this particular week, but like when it gets to this particular week or day or whatever, like let's go out.
And that you wouldn't see her at all the weeks before that.
No, I would. I would call her or I try to see her in between those days, but like I try to schedule that like the date in advance because things happen.
3 weeks out though?
I mean, 3 weeks might be like a exaggeration a little bit. It's probably like a week at the most, week and a half.
Now, Zach, you just told us you think you should see your significant other about once every 2 or 3 weeks.
You're not handling the cross-examination well here.
What? I'm confused for a second. Hold on, wait.
We all are confused, Zach.
No.
How often, Peter, should you see your significant other? Your girlfriend or chick you're dating? How often?
Like as often as you can. I mean, I would say that's it depends on your situation, obviously, but I would say you are working hard to try to find opportunities to spend time together.
Mm-hmm.
whether that's every night or every day or every other day or whatever your various work schedules. Are you in the same town? Are you remotely? Are you in the same neighborhood? Do you have, I mean, all these things factor into it, but the biggest factor is, especially early on when you find that right person, you really are enjoying spending time together and getting to know each other and learning about each other and all that. So typically you're spending a lot of time together and you want to spend that time, and too much is never enough really in those early days. So
I mean,
you should and you should continue that. It's a wonderful thing. So it shouldn't be like a physical therapy appointment. I mean, like once every couple weeks to go in and work on some stuff, and
Zach's getting the oil change.
Getting the oil change in the car like every, I don't know. You should see your girlfriend every 1,000 miles or so. Go check the odometer on the car and.
Texters are weighing in.
Oh my Lord!
At this rate, Zach won't be married until he's 50.
I mean, yeah.
Another,
if that. What do you mean 50?
Another texter says Zach needs to stop. LOL.
He's gonna be in the old folks' home. That's the only way. Even then, he's probably gonna take a week before he can walk down the hallway to meet.
Hey Gertrude, what you doing in about?
Hey Gertrude,
Gertrude.
Yeah, you got about a couple weeks, Gertrude. I know we're literally next door to each other and we spend every day together. But I'm gonna sit at a different table while we're eating our stuff and drinking our coffee. I'm gonna sit somewhere else for a little while. But 2 weeks from now, we're gonna sit together. That'd be nice. Mm. Do you like this girl?
Yeah. Do
you enjoy being with this girl?
Yeah.
Then why do you not want to spend more time with her? I mean, if you don't like her, that's a different issue, and that's fine. You find a girl that you want to spend more than once every month with.
Our work schedules don't mesh up during the week, so the only time
people's work schedules don't mesh up all the time, man. You find a way. You do find a way to make it work.
The only time she is available is on the weekends.
Then
on
the weekend?
Yeah, but
what?
Problem solved.
We did it. We nailed it.
Good job, Peter.
Next, what's next?
Her only
when are you guys gonna hang out on the weekends?
Her only availability is on the weekend, which is the exact same time as my availability. We're both only available on the weekend. We can't find time to kick it.
I mean, this seemed like the easiest problem in the world to solve. Why are you not spending like at least one of those days or nights or whatever with this girl?
Because she's busy.
Doing what? You said she's not working. What's she doing?
Like I don't personally know her schedule over the weekend.
Well, you could ask her.
I mean, yeah, I could definitely.
Is she your girlfriend?
No.
Not this one.
No.
But I'm confused now. So this girl, are we talking about a different girl here?
No. So at one point in time,
right,
they were. Then another point in time, they weren't.
So this is the same girl.
Same girl. Now they are.
They're in a different phase of the relationship.
In a different phase. They're trying to figure some things out.
Basically. Okay, so having been with this girl, I feel like you could ask her, "What's going on? What's going on this weekend? Let's try to make this thing happen. What's going on Friday? What's going on Saturday? What's going on Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night? Saturday afternoon. What's going on Saturday morning? What's going on?
Yeah, I did. I asked her last Friday.
Yeah.
About what she was doing.
Did she not answer to you?
No, she did. We was going to go, but she had family coming over on Sunday, so she couldn't go.
So she couldn't go on Saturday?
No, not Saturday, Sunday.
Why couldn't you go on Saturday?
Because we was busy taking care of some things Saturday. And then we had family over Saturday, so... I'm not making up excuses just to be making up excuses. These are legit.
They don't sound legit at all.
They're legit.
We're taking care of some things. I got some things I'm doing, and she got some things she's doing, and these things are. We got things. Yeah. Are you?
I have some things going on, man.
Are you? You got like a side business going on that we don't want to talk about?
She had things going on. I had things going on, man.
I had some business to
moving stuff around.
Take care of. We're doing some freight. We're moving some freight from one to the other. What? Okay, so listen. Here's the thing.
What time is she off work, Zach?
like, I don't know, what, 6, 7?
You can't schedule nothing with her tonight?
Is she listening?
I prefer not to, because, you know, I need to go to sleep to get up in the morning.
Is she not worth a couple hours of sleep, Zach?
I mean,
Y'all not kicking it till
she
2?
She is, but I still got to get up in the morning. I
Zach.
I rather be wide awake over the weekend than like be giving her like half my effort.
You're here for 4 hours, maybe 5 hours.
Right.
You don't need to be that damn alert.
Well, I mean, but I'm still waiting on her to get off work. So it's like,
Does she work in a place where you could see her at work?
no. No, I have to. It like once she gets off work like early evening. So by the time she gets off work, she's already tired because
Yeah, oh, absolutely. She got
She-
things. Everyone got things. You got all this stuff going on. Everybody's tired.
she's
Everybody doing stuff. I mean,
Because-
you know, it's just, everyone is exhausted. We can't even think about seeing each other, talking to anyone, having a conversation. That's
Y'all
too
got
much.
something scheduled for this weekend? Or y'all still got family stuff going on? Things.
Or your other things. Your things. You got some more things? We got some things going on?
I don't think so. I was gonna talk to her.
Today, huh?
Let's call her now. Next break. Let's take a let's come back. Let's open
No.
up. Let's call her on the air.
No, I
Let's
can't
just-
do that to her. I can't do that to her.
Like,
Come
listen,
on, man.
y'all need to see one another more than once.
Let me ask you.
every
Let me ask
2
you.
months.
Let me ask you a question, Zach. Let's just be honest here, okay? She's not listening. Do you like spending time with her?
Yeah,
I mean, no, for real though.
yeah, for real.
Peter, when we would have our morning meetings, Rico on your radio would be here. We would all partake in our morning meetings. This will be a chick Zach will bring up constantly.
Okay. Well then, you know, she's not just going to like drive up to your house and just like knock on the door and
Let's
let
go.
herself in.
Oh, she's done that several times. So just to let you know.
Look at you.
Not for him.
Nah, not for me.
him. Not
Not for me.
That's
Oh.
this is a family friend. This is a family situation.
Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, that's right. No, that's a whole different thing there. Well then,
Jarbo.
Zach, you either got to get, you got to poop or get off the pot on this one, buddy. That's all I can tell you. Either you got to make this thing happen or don't make it happen.
Jarbo texted me, says, I'll call her.
Yeah, Jarvo gonna call her. I'm sure a lot of our listeners will call her. Unbelievable. You gotta. I mean, do you want? Is it? Do you want to? I mean, it's like being in the bubble for the NBA. You want to do this or not? You going to restart or you not? You going to stay home or you going to be in it? What you going to be? You going to put on the uniform or you not going to put on the uniform?
No, like I'm all for it.
Well, then you got to put on that uniform, man. You got to go practice. You got to go play.
There's
You got to
so
spend
much-
time.
there's-
You can't just be like,
But-
you can't. They're not showing up at the gym ready to play. You got to put in the practice. You got to put in the work, man. You got to get in there. Go talk to her on the phone sometimes. Text her. Hey, what's going on? How you doing? Good to see you. Hey, here's a funny little emoji thing. I said emoji baits this morning. That was hilarious. Ha ha ha. How's your day going? Great. All right. The stuff keep a contact. Like. Keep the reps going. The reps, man. Reps. You don't just because you can't physically be with her doesn't mean you can't text her when she's at work. How's work going? And going okay, great. I was just thinking about you. Boom. There you go.
Yeah, I've done that, Peter. I've done that. Like we had like a long conversation. Yeah, last night.
Okay.
So
Then let's move on these issues. I mean, I feel like I'm missing something. I feel like there's some bit of information I don't have. I mean, like
You're not
there's
missing anything. Let's get. Got to talk about this next.
we got to come back. If you give Zach, this was Zach's relationship corner, but now it's everyone else's relationship corner for Zach. 67129. Please, somebody help Zach out while we take a break and come back. Real Sports Talk Sports return to the NBA and everything else, all that stuff. And there's a lot to discuss about all of that. We talked about some different things that might happen as a result of the NBA doing this. And one of the things they've talked about is painting Black Lives Matter on the court, which is a possibility. WNBA players have also suggested that they wear warm-up shirts with "Say Her Name" on them to call attention to female victims of police brutality, including Breonna Taylor. I think that's all well and good. I've told you, CJ, I feel like we were somewhat limited as far as the value and importance of slow writing Black Lives Matter on stuff, other slogans, things like that. That's great, but I feel like we're probably past the point where that is an effective way of. I feel like the level of attention is pretty good. I feel like if you don't know what's going on at this point, then you're going to purposefully avoid finding out what's going on. Kind of like Zach purposefully avoiding spending time with his girl.
Okay. All right. What were we talking about?
Sorry, I didn't mean to. I just wanted to use an example that was relevant to our discussion today. Anyway.
Little things. The little things. People are going to the bad faithers are going to go out of their way to ignore what's going on. That is true. But everybody's not a bad faither. And the more you can keep this conversation at the forefront of everybody's minds, the better off for everybody involved, not just black people, not just the protesters, but for this nation as a whole. And so I said it yesterday, I'll say it again today. It'll be a bunch of little things that add up to something big. It's not going to be one big moment that we can look at and point to and say, aha, the NBA did this one time or this handful of times, and now everything they've done enough to raise awareness for these issues. Like you said, that everybody is aware. So what is the action behind the things that you are doing? It can't just be putting Black Lives Matter on the court. It can't just be names on the back of jersey being switched to say whatever you would like for it to say. It's got to be something more, something tangible. People are aware. We've got to start passing or doing things to start passing meaningful legislation in this nation. And it's a lot like Zach and his relationship right now, where they are aware of one another and they are trying to find that one big thing to be like, aha, this is it right here. We're aware of one another and bow. Now we're together because it is just one big thing that just happened and we feel that spark that is love. No, that's not how that works. It's going to be a lot of little things in the NBA and in Zach's relationship that add up to something bigger. So for the NBA, it'll be the names on the jerseys. It'll be the names on the courts. It'll be something with the anthems. For Zach, it'll be something like a love note. It'll be something like getting her a box of chocolate unexpectedly. It'll be getting to hang out with her just one-on-one for 30, 45 minutes one weekend so as to not go so long between seeing her one-on-one. Like it's both situations. It's the little things that add up to be something much larger.
That's beautifully said, beautifully tied together.
Thank you.
Everyone, I hope you're watching on the stream on Periscope, Instagram, YouTube, etc., because Zach is laughing very hard during all of this, and it's very funny to see his reaction in the middle of all this. So please feel free. If you're not seeing Zach's reaction during all this discussion, you really should. That's you're missing a key component of all the discussion. But yes, I think you hope that the little things add up, and you hope that that's the case. We shall see if that is indeed the case. Colleges, meanwhile, are trying to come back and figure out what they're going to do. High schools, middle schools, elementary schools, everybody's trying to figure out, what are we going to do when we come back? Well, I don't know what we're going to do, but I know what we're not going to do. And what we're not going to do is what it seems like is happening at North Carolina. UNC Chapel Hill announced their returns, their guidelines, and I'm going to be honest, CJ. This strikes me as basically delusional, I guess is the best way to describe this. I don't know if you've seen this, but they announced yesterday, last night, in fact, that they're going to have a social distancing policy of 3 feet.
Huh?
3 feet. Not 6 feet.
Ooh, I got a question.
Question. Okay. Yes. Gentleman there in the white shirt.
The official guideline is 6 feet.
It is. It is.
So why is
Good point.
Carolina Chapel Hill doing 3 feet? That doesn't make sense. That's half of what the official
they want
guidelines
to.
are.
I mean, because I think you have to understand that though the official guidelines say 6 feet, 3 feet is half of 6.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have 3 feet, then you could put more people in a room. I mean, I think this is the crux of the issue here. I don't think you understand math. Maybe you don't understand math, CJ. See, 6.
I passed pharmacy math.
See, 6 is like this many.
Yes.
Is this wide.
Yes.
But if 3 is like this, then you could put a person here and then a person here. Whereas in this, you can only put people here and here. You see that extra people means extra money. And now, is there any? Now you're asking an important question here. Is there any evidence or any sort of thing that says 3 feet seems to be a good idea? The answer is no.
Okay.
No one has said that.
Yeah.
North Carolina has said our roadmap for fall 2020 is informed with guidance from infectious disease researchers, public health experts, and our campus community.
Is it?
Okay. So that's there. Dr. Maria de Guzman, as a professor, she says even 6 feet is risky and 3 feet is crazy. We were going remote when only 25 people were in the hospital here in North Carolina back in March. Why are we rushing back to the classroom when we have 890 people in the hospital and surging cases? Here's another fun fact. North Carolina's website says that faculty and students will not be notified if a classmate tests positive for COVID-19.
Oh, okay. That seems like another bad idea.
Here's another bad idea on top of it. Even when doing contact tracing or alerting students who may have been exposed to COVID-19, which apparently they're not going to do very much of, UNC's website said they would not consider students who sat 3 feet apart and wore masks to be close contact, and therefore they would not be considered someone who needs to be traced, alerted, or quarantined.
Nah, it can't be this.
This is wild right here.
They're reckless out here in these streets.
This is North Carolina, man.
I mean, good grief.
It's a big school.
Are all of the classes fake at North Carolina?
I mean,
I don't understand. What are you
apparently
doing?
The epidemiology department and the Afro-American Studies department are very similarly fictional.
Same department chairs, huh?
Oh my goodness.
Get out of here.
That's what it's. I mean, it's wild. I have no idea what they're thinking on this one. But it's. I don't know.
I'm speechless, bewildered, flabbergasted. So you're going to say, "Hey, we're not going to tell y'all when a classmate has been infected." Okay, how am I supposed to know via contact tracing? Oh, we'll let you know. Cool. You gonna let me know if I was sitting right next to this dude in class or this dude in class? Nah. Y'all were 3 feet apart. That works. That's good enough for us.
Y'all are 3 feet apart and wearing masks. Again, masks are not it's
they
masks
have to be
plus
used together.
It's masks plus the social distancing. If you are close together and still, coughing or whatever, if you have symptoms or if you're sharing and talking loudly, it's not, masks are not perfect unless everyone's wearing, medical grade surgical masks, these N95 masks, then, fine, I guess. But I'm guessing that's not going to be the case. I'm guessing everyone's not getting an N95 mask when they go to the class at North Carolina. You're probably wearing just whatever, face covering you got. And as long as you stay, 6 feet apart, that's better. Again, the question of should you even be doing this indoors is still a very relevant one right now. We've seen the studies of airflow and air conditioning systems and how the thing spreads, and we don't have a great feel for that yet, and what the impact of mask wearing is indoors for people that can spread the disease. We kind of have a feel that kids don't tend to get it and spread it as effectively. That's a fairly well established thing. We don't know everything perfectly, but we're pretty good on that. So, having kids back in school, younger kids, elementary school kids, and all that seems plausible and possible with distancing and all that stuff. But for college kids who we know spread it like wildfire because they're out, doing it and have been doing it for a while now in these bars and whatever. Now you're going to throw a bunch of them in a classroom 3 feet apart, masked, hopefully. But, I mean, again, all it takes is someone taking that mask off and, wiping their nose, coughing, whatever. It doesn't take much. And then you're not going to contact trace them, and you're not going to tell them that somebody's sick, and you're just making it up as you go along here. We're just out here making stuff up. We're just 3 feet. What about 2 feet? That's fine. 4.8 feet. Let's go with that. Okay, just make it up.
I'm speechless about this particular situation in this text, which says, "Good morning. Because of some issues with our system, we need you to deposit $200 into your personal account. The system should be up by the end of the week or beginning of next week, and your $200 will be returned to you so that you can pull it out of the account."
Don't do it.
Nah. It's in that phone, homie. Why are we getting scammed on the text line?
Stop scamming. That's not – come on. Texters. Come on.
Oh, boy.
67129 for legitimate texters out there, please.
Please.
Goodness gracious.
Not bots.
What are they going to do in dorms? Are they going are dorms just going to be back?
Yeah.
My dog's upset about
Yeah.
that.
No, dorms is just back.
Dorms we're good to go. We're just going to throw everyone in.
That's going to mean that's going to mean with policies like that, athletes are going to catch the coronavirus and they're not going to be able to go out there and compete.
No, because you have widespread. You got widespread is what you got of this thing. I mean, it's if this is what we're going to try, CJ, then this is going to be a rough fall and winter. And we're going to be right back here a year from now, same kind of discussion. Well, when are we going to?
This isn't what we're
Come
gonna
on,
try.
people.
This can't be what we're going. There are smarter people involved who are going to step in after seeing this nonsense. Because North Carolina, they like them some basketball. The state likes them some basketball.
They do.
And a policy like this, all somebody has to do is show you logically how these types of policies lead to no basketball in North Carolina. They'll get right. Because with policies like this, where you've got students sitting 3 feet apart, maybe you're not contact tracing the way you need to be as extensively as you need to be. You're not trying to be as forthright and forthcoming with information as possible. Like, no, you're begging for the coronavirus to run through your university. And guess who's on campus? Basketball players. And guess what happens if 4 or 5 of them come down with COVID? There's nobody they can sign in free agency. There's no special exception, no special clause that they can come up with at the collegiate level. So 4 or 5 basketball players getting in college, get down to, 9 dudes? Nah. Somebody smarter is going to step in here and fix the policies that North Carolina is trying to sneak out there. In fact, I think they put this out here knowing it was a bad idea, throwing that out there, get people upset about it, and passing something else that looks better than this original idea, but it's still bad. I think that's what they're doing. They're trying to play us.
The Overton window.
Yep. Stay woke.
Okay.
That third eye. Bow right there. Stay open.
Oh, so that's our first Overton window reference on the show. That's exciting. Let's do it. 67129. Your thoughts on that, and also on Zach and any other scams. If you want to throw in any other scam opportunities, you can do that as well. It's 129 here in the Family Leisure Studios. We'll continue. We'll talk about what's going on in Iowa as well. Not great, as it turns out. It seems like you thought maybe this thing was maybe it was over, or maybe people had sort of forgotten. Nope, not true. We still got plenty more meat on that bone. We'll discuss that when we continue here. Real Sports Talk, Sports 56, 96.1, 87.7.
Spend your lunch with Greg Gaston and Ian Norsworthy.
Dave is away. Drew Barrett co-hosting for Dave. Carl Morris producing and doing a terrific job. Really appreciate you guys as we wind through the end of the first half of the new year toward Independence Day weekend, and we get closer to the WGC FESJI. When Dave gets back, it'll really be close to time for the golf tournament. And joining us now to talk the golf tournament, he will at this time right up and through the golf tournament. We hope the week after another very successful event like it was last year, the executive director of the WGC FESJI, Daryl Smith, a friend to many and a friend to this show. And Daryl, we appreciate you joining us. And we usually start around this time as we get closer to who's committed, who's in the field. And now we have to talk epidemiology.
Yeah, you're no doubt about that, Brett. It's good to be with you guys. But the topics of conversation nowadays are pretty far-reaching. It's outside of just who's going to come to Memphis and play in this year's event, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's above me for a lot of it. But tell us right now where you think the tournament stands with health officials, city of and county of Shelby, city of Memphis, Shelby County officials, and the tournament stance going forward. Is we're looking forward to another great event at TPC Southwind.
Yeah, so we've been in pretty much constant communication with Shelby County Health Department, and the city of Memphis. And, one of the things that we have to do in order to produce the event is to share with them a health and safety plan of how we would conduct the event. So we've had that communication with them. We'll continue to have that communication with them to share the differences of the event from this year compared to last year. And, we remain hopeful that we'll be able to have some spectators here on site. As everybody knows, the first four events that came out of the start of the season on the PGA Tour, those were without spectators. And then, of course, the first tournament that has spectators is going to be the Memorial Tournament, which was in Dublin, Ohio. So, we remain hopeful. There's still a lot of more conversations to have with health officials and local government officials. But we're hopeful we'll be able to have some sense of a gallery out here at TPC Southwind later this summer.
Yeah, Daryl, I think we're all on the same page because this is a great event, one of the best events on the PGA Tour. With fans, and if we are able to have the gallery, what type of numbers per day are we looking at as far as like the max amount of spectators?
Yeah, we haven't really got into that specific of a number quite yet. I mean, we do look at our property, and we see a ton of advantages of being an outdoor event at a golf course. We have over 200 acres of property here at TPC Southwind. Approximately 50 of those acres are what we would consider outside the ropes. So, we know we have a lot of usable space, but having a lot of usable space is one thing, but we got to make sure we control the crowds that are here on property and make sure that we adhere to all social distancing guidelines. So that's kind of where we are in the process right now as we talk to the county officials and the health department to make sure that no matter what amount of people that we have on site, that everybody adheres to social distancing.
I'm probably not the first one to suggest this, Daryl, but through the years we've had the ubiquitous placards for the galleries and for the marshals with the "Hush Y'all" on it. How about a face mask with "Hush Y'all" on it?
Yeah, I know, face mask and social distancing measures, and places that social distancing circles on grass, and all of that type of stuff are things that we're thinking of. Because, we said from day one we wanted it to be the safest environment possible for every constituent that's here on property. And, that will be our focus. And we have things, we have some advantages, like I mentioned earlier, about being a golf course. We don't have confined space, but at the same time, we need to have some control measures in place. So we're going to, put our heads together as a team and come up with those and partner with the officials to make sure it's the safest we possibly can be.
And Daryl, I just noted. I happened to notice it this week at the Travelers because the little bit of cheering you heard were from people in their backyards who happen to live on the course. And as you know, there are a lot of different houses that back up onto holes at TPC Southwind. Are y'all any concerned about large gatherings at homes? Are you gonna is TPC or is it Southwind as like a community gonna have kind of person restrictions, how many people they can bring in, or are they just going to be allowed to do whatever they want in their backyards that on some of them are right there on the holes?
Yeah, we have a unique setting that we're in a residential neighborhood, and the neighborhood has been a strong partner of ours, throughout our time here at TBC Southwind, since we moved here from Colonial Country Club. And they've always had an active scene in at these houses around the golf course and in backyards and in pools, and people really look forward to the golf tournament. Back when it was the FedEx St. Jude Classic and into last year when it was a WGC, and I fully expect that the neighborhood is eager to learn exactly what the golf tournament will look like. But they have a little bit of comfort knowing that they do have some views of TPC Southwind and can invite their friends over. And to enjoy the golf tournament from afar. I mean, you've seen that in a lot of tournaments, that have already been played. Like you said, last week at Travelers and at Colonial in Fort Worth, there were several residents around that property that were, taking advantage of the golf tournament and, using this opportunity to hang out with some friends and family. And I imagine that will be the same case here.
Daryl, you're really good at and very diplomatic. That was a great term, active scenes around some of those houses, because there was the very famous swimming pool party one year. They got a little risque, too close to a hole, but that's private residences, and they can do what they want. We're visiting with Daryl Smith, the executive director of the WGC FESJI, and through the years, through the long and storied Memphis PGA Tour stop history, I think the number one person, it's Lee Trevino. If I was handed a ballot, vote number one golf celebrity through the years coming through our tournament, I'd vote Lee Trevino. Second probably would be Phil Mickelson. Third could be 2 years ago winner, the last FedEx St. Jude Classic winner, Dustin Johnson. He's made a statement that he's on his way to Memphis.
Yeah, no, we were thrilled to see Dustin win this past weekend, and Dustin's history here in Memphis is something that everybody's extremely aware of, and the way he went out at the last FedEx St. Jude Classic, and in the fashion that he finished off that dominating victory with hole in that second shot there on 18 is a moment that we'll always remember in the life of Memphis's PGA Tour event. And I think I would have to agree with your assessment that Lee Trevino has meant so much to this tournament. And of course, Phil Mickelson has been so committed to the tournament and being visible and, showing up year after year. And, we're hopeful that we'll see Phil again this year. Phil right now is currently not eligible or outside the, criteria, but we saw a little glimpse of Phil last week. He turned 50 years old and he gets the 36-hole lead. And, we're hopeful he can keep that great play up, because we'd love to see, Phil Mickelson come back to Memphis for the second playing of a WGC. And then, so, the field in itself, we know is going to be a stellar field. This year is going to be a little bit different. We are going to have 78 players in the field, which is unlike last year, where we only had 63 players. Due to COVID, there has been the desire to make sure that we have 78 players in the field for more playing opportunities. So the official World Golf Rankings will have a couple different cutoffs for becoming eligible. So there already was one cutoff for the official top 50, and that was when back in March. So those players that were already in the top 50, they're eligible to compete, and then we'll have two more cutoffs before we get to tournament. So giving those players an opportunity to play inside the top 50. So we know we'll have 78 of the best players here this year, and being a WGC, it really just sets it apart from other tournaments.
Daryl, that is great news of the expanded field, because as great as last year went off, and it was terrific, weather-wise, field-wise, there were times that there were some lapses because it wasn't the rat-a-tat-tat of players everywhere. We'd gotten used to the 156 man field through the years, and last year there was times that it was a little bit lonely some places on the course, and I like the constant action. So I love that 78. What are the next two cuts? You mentioned the top 50 in March. What are the next two dividing lines, and then how will you fill out the balance of it?
Yeah, so Monday, July 27th, there'll be a cut. So, and then the following, the Friday prior to that, two Fridays prior to that, there's also a cutoff. So it basically gives you, the chance that, hey, you have a week buffer, you inside the top 50, but if you're outside the top 50, you play that last week and you say you played well from the 3M Open and got yourself in the top 50, then you would be eligible because the last cutoff is that Monday of our tournament week. So, so there's three different dates there. And then, the remaining balance will go down to official world golf rankings. So, if we need to go to 51, 52, 53, 54, we'll just go straight down the official world golf rankings to fill the field to 78 total players.
Mm-hmm. Excellent.
And it's going to be a great field. I mean, every field up to this point in the restart has been phenomenal. You've seen just scores just skyrocket. Basically, I think the average winner for the Travelers Tournament up until this year was, I think, like 10 or 11, and DJ goes out and shoots a minus 19. Do you think that trend's going to stay all the way up to the WGC, and we could possibly see a minus 20-plus winner?
Yeah, I think the guys, someone asked me when golf made its return that, hey, are we going to see higher scores? And, I think that, these guys are professionals for a reason. Yes, they've had long.
I don't mind birdies.
Yeah, they've had long delays, and, some of them have not picked up golf clubs. But, once they knew that we were making a return, they spend a couple of weeks or, 7 days or 10 days on the range getting that game, back in shape that, they're going to be able to pick up right where they left off. So, there has been some low scores, at Colonial and then also at Travelers and RBC. I think that it all depends on the golf course. It depends on the weather. There's so many factors into low scores. And, here at Southwind, as Dustin Johnson said, earlier this week when we announced something on social media, is that this golf course, you shoot a couple under every single day and you're going to have a chance to win. It's that challenging. It's that hard. So I think the golf course is going to be in great condition. There's going to be no shortage of rough out here. So we'll see. Someone could get hot and they could shoot a low score, but this golf course is extremely fair and it rewards the best player that's playing the best that week.
Daryl, through 3 weeks, through the tournaments completed, the Colonial at Hilton Head, at Harbortown, and last week in Connecticut, I don't think the PGA Tour could have pulled it off any better. They've been very cautious. They've been very careful. When there have been cases, they've acted on it. I thought the commissioner really led a week ago today might have been Wednesday with his press availability, and we're all right now in everything. We're juggling flaming chainsaws. You just don't know what's coming at you next, and it may not be to suit everyone with how it's going to be this year. Maybe a limited number, maybe fanless, but I think it's important to plow on and have the events on the schedule.
Yeah, I think that us as the PGA Tour, I think the commissioner has done a fabulous job. I think that, of course, we understood that, we probably do have some advantages in the way just the sport is played itself. But I think the most important thing for us is that this is an evolving exercise. Things are changing by the day and by the minute. And, we're committed to making it the safest environment we possibly can. We know there's going to be, some bad news, but we've established protocols that, we can, implement. And that's the reason why we've established those protocols, is to implement them. And if they are implemented and we learn something from week to week that can be improved upon, then we have the opportunity to do that. So what's going on, this week in Detroit, I'm sure there's some things they picked up at Hartford that they said, we should debut this in Detroit and see how it reacts, or see the differences from week to week. And I think we're committed to that as an organization, is that it's going to be a total involvement of day to day of just how we go about producing our events. But, you know, we're excited to be back playing golf. We think that it definitely gives some people, you know, the idea of the option to turn it on the weekend and Thursday and Friday in your office or at home in your home office and watch a little bit of something that's a little bit, you know, closer to normal. But we got a long ways to go, and we're going to be committed to doing the right thing week after week. And, you know, we're excited about the possibilities here in Memphis, but we're going to make sure that it's the safest environment for everybody that's on property.
Daryl, fantastic to visit with you today. We look forward to our run through the successful event, and good luck with it. I know you're working a lot of hours and got a lot coming at you. We appreciate you carving out some time for us today, and we will visit a lot soon. Happy Independence Day this weekend, and enjoy the event at the Rocket Mortgage in Detroit. I know you're proud of a lot of your colleagues for what they have pulled off. Thank you, Daryl.
Yeah, thank you guys. Appreciate
Thanks,
it.
Daryl.
You got it, Daryl Smith, visiting with us from the WGC FESJI. Remember, Drew, in the good old days when all we had to worry about with the golf tournament was a long-range weather forecast and maybe where the Pronto Pup stands would be and maybe who was coming and who was not coming. And if you notice, we did an entire WGC FESJI segment without mentioning Tiger Woods.
Well, we did. I have it written down here in my notes. It's kind of just one of the last few lines that I may wanted to get to, but it's really not as important to me right now. I just want golf. It's not a make or break situation. Yes, exactly. Yeah. And ultimately, you know, I've talked to some people about it. If he does come and we're not allowed to have patrons out there, not allowed to have fans out there, I think it would hurt even more than if he doesn't come, because who's to say he comes back the next year? That could be the one and only time Tiger Woods sets foot in Memphis, Tennessee, and nobody gets to see him. So I feel like it would hurt even more.
I mean, what's next? Elvis returns and plays FedEx Forum and we can't go see him?
I guess so. That'd be the only thing worse.
It would almost be too cruel, but for the event, it would be good because we know what the TV rating would do, and we know often that, you know, portends great for the next year when we got back to some normality. I almost said normalcy. When we do our lists for the first half of the year, have your word of the year.
Word of the year.
I've got mine. Word of the year, have yours, and we would love for other people to send those in as well at 67129 at the First Bank text line or 360-8255 at the First Bank phone line. And we love First Bank, and you can build your success story with First Bank. They have a story and a record of customers reaching out. Community banks, they're the preferred lender of people building a success story. Build yours with First Bank. At First Bank Mortgage, their core purpose is to help you get to a better place. That better place may be a lower monthly payment, that vacation you thought was impossible. Yeah, we're still going to go on vacations, or getting into a home with a fenced backyard where your kids can play. Call 901-462-0145 today at First Bank. Build your success story with First Bank. Visit firstbankonline.com. That's firstbankonline.com. We come back, we're going to talk the documentary last night about Eddie Sutton. We were texting a lot during it. I hope people watch. I know it will be replayed quite a bit. I thought it was fascinating. We talk that and other things rounding out hour one next on Sportstime.
Take Sports 56 with you on your phone or tablet. Download our official Sports 56 app today.
I want to invite you to come by the Spirit Shop. You know, that little log cabin on Poplar, your liquor and wine oasis. The Spirit Shop has been providing sports fans their beverage needs since way back in 1969. So come in now and get ready for the big game. Whether your favorite team wins or loses, the Spirit Shop will help you celebrate or ease that pain away. The Spirit Shop is open every day, and they're located perfectly at 4848 Poplar. That's the corner of Poplar and St. Nick.
Did you know nearly 40% of men under 40 and over 75% of men over the age of 40 experience sexual performance concerns? At the Memphis Men's Clinic, their experienced physician performs a comprehensive evaluation that determines which specific issues may interfere with your sexual performance. These issues can vary and range from anxiety to medical issues, low testosterone, or erectile dysfunction. The Memphis Men's Clinic has evaluated hundreds of men of all ages over the years and reestablished a normal sexual life. The Memphis Men's Clinic will work aggressively to resolve issues and allow you to restore your sexual health and overall well-being. That's the Memphis way. If you're 20 years old or 90 years old, come and get cared for the Memphis way. Treatment that's based on your specific needs after a professional clinical evaluation by their experienced board-certified physician. Call the Memphis Men's Clinic today at 901-443-0475 or visit memphismensclinic.com.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. The storms we've had over the past several months have been devastating to our communities. The rainy season is ahead. You may have not even noticed the dripping in your attic, water stains throughout your home, or even worse, mold and mildew. Please call Brian Elder Roofing and we will send out our project managers to assess any damage. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. We will measure your roof from outer space. 0% for 60 months, even no payments till 2022 are available with approved credit. If you've noticed missing shingles, water stains, leaks in your roof, call us before you call your insurance company at 867-0303. That's 867-0303, and we will provide a free, thorough inspection of your roof's condition.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Frontier Western Store is open and ready to serve you for all your needs in boots, apparel, pet food, and more. Frontier is proud to be a local leader here in the Mid-South when it comes to boots. Stop by the store today for an incredible selection of name brand work and dress boots. Come browse aisles and aisles of top quality boots at everyday low prices in our world famous boot showroom. Dan Post, Rocky, Durango, Twisted X, Georgia, Ariat, and many more. There are so many styles, colors, and fits available, you might need a hand picking out your favorites. Luckily, Frontier's knowledgeable sales staff will cheerfully assist you with any questions you have and ensure the proper fit of your new boots. Frontier also has an amazing selection of jeans and shirts by Wrangler, Ariat, and Carhartt, as well as a fully stocked women's boutique department with thousands of tops and dresses at unbelievable prices. New arrivals often. Frontier Western Store, 5880 Gilman Road in Olive Branch, and on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Family owned and operated since 1967.
Now, back to Sports Time on Sports 50. Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Drew Barrett with me this week and next. Dave will be back in a couple of Mondays, and we look forward to that. But look forward to visiting with Ron Tillery, the longtime NBA writer, longtime beat writer for the Memphis Grizzlies at the Commercial Appeal. He joins us now to talk NBA down in Orlando and the Grizzlies prospects there and other business matters. But I want to start with this, Ron Tillery, if I may. What do you think of J.R. Smith back with LeBron James?
Oh, I think it's hilarious. Good afternoon, gentlemen. I think it's going to be entertaining.
What could go wrong, Ron?
Nothing but everything.
That's it.
He's a shot maker, a hired gun. I'm surprised no one's reached out to Jamal Crawford, quite frankly. I mean, it's going to be a quick format, and making shots is going to be imperative.
Yeah, I mean, you go down and let it fly. What do you got to lose?
Exactly. No, I think it's hilarious. You know, it just goes to show you that no matter how much things are hyped in the media, sometimes about relationships, it's never really as bad as it sounds or as it's printed.
Mike Miller's got to be thinking, if my old back was just in a little better shape, maybe LeBron would call me.
Yeah, I thought it was kind of funny. I saw his tweet. He kind of
I did too.
Put that out there. So, yeah. But, no, I can't see Mike Miller leaving his family to go to a bubble, not at this point in his life.
And the Orlando bubble, it could be interesting. Marc Gasol and the Toronto Raptors could go back to back. They're kind of the Lee Corso team, just quietly lurking, aren't they?
Yeah. I wouldn't take them out the mix. I think my dark horse in the East would be Philly, though. And I know that sounds crazy because Philly is so talented, but they've
not crazy. Good pick.
Yeah, but they've underachieved, and they have enough to make a serious run. Going down there, and we haven't heard of anybody pulling out from that particular squad, whereas Toronto has had positive COVID tests, and of course there's been others around the league. So teams are going to be not as they were originally built. So it'll be interesting to see what
I
happened.
like that Philly angle for the healthy, rested Joel Embiid. Now, I would like to see what kind of shape he's in. If he spent the pandemic lockdown not really working out a whole lot, then we know what might happen. But also for their coach, he could be playing for a job. Ron, the Orlando bubble will be fun. The Grizzlies could stay in that 8th spot, win a playoff position. But the news last week really came as a blockbuster to some, not as much to others, because it was really always there for the reporting and for the analysis, but it was the business aspect of it. I think you are on the reticent that they're not going anywhere soon, but state your case and what you know, and you've got some original reporting and some information that you know.
Yeah, well, I don't think they're going anywhere soon, but I don't think that story was breaking news, as you so eloquently put it. I mean, anybody familiar with the lease knew that clause was in there. They also have to look out for 2024 when the naming rights on FedEx Forum comes up. So it was always in there. The only interesting thing about the report is the timing. So a random day in late June, as the Grizzlies are getting ready to go back to play, this is being made out to be the biggest thing since sliced bread. It tells me a couple things. It tells me that Robert Parra, as I reported in March, was absolutely inquiring about how he could possibly move the team because he knew this clause would get triggered. And it also tells me that maybe the Grizzlies are a little nervous. The city of Memphis, I should say, is a little nervous because, again, random story, out of nowhere, why now? So maybe they've been talking, maybe that they're not really feeling good about it, so let's drop this out for public consumption and see how we can sway this thing. But, I think people got to take stock in the whole situation. And it's not being anti-Grizzly or anti-Memphis, but pre-pandemic, FedEx Forum was not hitting its attendance benchmark. And you got Ja and you got Jaren Jackson.
Jaren.
So I mean, that's disappointing, to use a mild word. And I think people need to stop getting caught up on the lease. There are triggers in that lease, and we'll be talking about this every year until the lease is up in 2029, if they make it that far, because that was the trigger. After 15 years in the Forum, now they have to hit these attendance benchmarks. And the thing about it is, too, when you talk to people outside the league, outside of Memphis, who are around the league, that are into this stuff, they'll tell you that the last time the collective bargain agreement was negotiated, there was a civil war amongst the owners. A lot of people around here don't really sink their teeth into that. And the civil war was because a lot of the money-making teams didn't want to, say, quote-unquote, subsidize basketball in Memphis or New Orleans or wherever they're struggling. And so it took Mike Heising and a handful of owners to really push for some robust revenue sharing. So for lack of a better way to put it, Memphis benefits a great deal from a welfare system in the NBA. And I don't think you should be nervous now, but I don't think people should just totally dismiss the fact that the collective NBA owners would love to get that relocation fee and have them in Las Vegas or have them in Seattle. But expansion is not a real thing, not in the U.S. They're not going to expand. And when they say, well, why don't you take New Orleans or why don't you take Charlotte? Well, two huge differences. New Orleans is owned by the same lady, same family that owns the Saints, local. Charlotte is owned by North Carolina's finest, Michael Jordan. Memphis has a problem with not having local ownership. And I don't care how much money the local partners put into a lease, the fact of the matter is they want to be philanthropists. They don't want to run a basketball team. And they've had multiple chances to buy this team and just chose not to.
Yeah, and that's how most owners who have teams in their hometown, unless your name's Stan Kroenke, and you'll just do anything for a quick buck. But like you, I was a little shocked, a little concerned about the timing of it. But the thing that concerns me as a taxpayer of Memphis, Tennessee, and Shelby County is where that $29 random million showed up the next day.
Yeah, well, they put aside money to pay the bonds on the building. So I guess I'm not too surprised that they had a surplus. But I don't think people are going to be happy, as you're alluding to, about that money going to pay towards tickets.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how ridiculous is that? When I didn't think that people should have been upset about building FedEx Forum, because look how it changed the quality of life in Memphis, with your concerts, with the Tigers being a tenant, and the Grizzlies, and all kind of ways it improved the quality of life here. But now you're talking about something totally different. Now you're talking about, to piggyback what I just said, owners don't want to subsidize basketball in Memphis. And I'm sure taxpayers feel even stronger about not subsidizing basketball in Memphis. Because that's what that would be.
Mm-hmm.
That would be another form of welfare.
Yeah, and Ron, through the years, all I had said mostly when it came up is I rejected the people, some of the very loud, prominent voices that would say, there's no way. And I would usually come back to this, that I believe it will be difficult. I believe it would almost be impossible, but don't say there's no way, and don't tell me you can't, because as Drew mentioned, if Stan Kroenke can jilt his hometown of 60 years, a guy that just breezed in here in 2014 could breeze right out. Now, I'm no lawyer, and I'm no film and restaurant critic either, but don't tell me no way, Ron.
I'm glad you brought that up, because that's what I push back against the most. The idea that they're locked in. Let me tell you something. When you're worth billions of dollars, like the guy, Clay Bennett, who bought the Sonics up in Seattle. Now, Seattle, in their 40-year history, at that time, had the city's only championship and were allowed to move. You know why? Because Clay Bennett said, okay, how much is it going to take? Seattle said $75 million. He wrote a check for $75 million and backed up the moving truck. I mean, Robert Parra is worth billions. If Memphis wanted $100 million, he writes a check and Memphis will take it. And so, yeah, these leases, they're not all that strong in the sense that you can find a way to move if you want to move. Bennett told Seattle for years, well, at least 2 years, I'm not moving, until he wrote the check and moved. Mike Heisley, the late, great Mike Heisley, told Vancouver, I'm not moving, until he moved. And, you got to keep in mind, when these guys decide to move, they'll get nothing but support from their ownership colleagues. They'll vote for it.
And they're not scared of some political flunky in the mayor's office or some member of the city council. Look, reportedly by many reputable places, Robert Parra, in building his billion dollar company Ubiquity, mostly off of Wi-Fi in outer reaches of China, he had the Chinese mob after him. You think he's scared of a city council member?
Right. That's true. That's very true. Robert Parra has a condo in Seattle. He travels, internationally in and out of Seattle. Seattle is ready to hit the button on an arena because they're getting an expansion NHL team. And I'm not saying that they're going to Seattle, and I'm not saying they're moving anytime soon. But once upon a time, right, Stats, we're old enough to remember when they said there's no way they'd have professional sports in Las Vegas. No way. Well, now the NBA is in bed with gambling. They got an NFL team. They got a WNBA team. They got a hockey team. Pay that relocation fee to go to Vegas, and the owners would have a quarantine party.
Yeah, they would, Ron, and I think that Vegas is eventually going to get a basketball team. Heck, they might even eventually get a Major League Baseball team with the trend it's going out there in the desert. But back to the bubble and what's going to happen here in the next month, what are your feelings about the giving players the opportunity to change the name on their jerseys for the cause and actually having Black Lives Matter on the court?
Well, I think it's just in line with what the commissioner has tried to do, Adam Silver, in terms of working with the players. One of Silver's biggest strokes was to get Sterling, the owner of the Clippers, who proved himself to be making racist statements and having policies that were racist. They got them out of there real quick. So I think it's in line with that. I guess, yes, it's the NBA and it's a global sport. I just, and it's a platform. But I just think we live in a day and age where these guys are all over Twitter. LeBron James has almost 50 million followers on Twitter. I don't even do Facebook and Instagram, so I can't imagine what he has on there. And I can't imagine that any one of these guys couldn't call up a cable news station and get on TV anytime they get ready. So
anytime.
It's symbolic in the sense that, people are craving the NBA and they'll see the messages. But again, I just think they have platforms. This is about money. It's not about putting these guys on a platform for social injustice. It's about money. And on one end, I probably wouldn't go if I had a few dollars in the bank. On the other end, I can see the point of the players not wanting to have that collective bargaining agreement ripped up and renegotiated because it is so favorable toward the players right now. You don't want to lose that.
Give me the percentage you think that Orlando starts and the percentage that Orlando finishes with the Larry O'Brien Trophy being awarded to the champion of the NBA.
I think it's 100% they start. I think it's 50-50 whether they finish because as much as we all love the NBA and we want to see these guys play, the idea that this is a bubble is just laughable to me. You're going to have Disney security securing the place. They get to go home. All of the workers who clean the rooms, make the food, and so on and so forth, they work and go home and come back. There's no doubt in my mind that people will get snuck into the bubble because one of the best things about being a young single NBA player or a professional athlete is how much fun you have off the court. Let's not sugarcoat that part. And I'm glad Jalen Rose laid it out there last week when they released the schedule.
And he did.
He said, "Stop fooling yourself." He said, "That's one of the best things." So, I don't see anybody using the snitch line, but I see people abusing the bubble. And my whole thing is, it's just not a true bubble. So they're going to get cases. What happens when certain teams are just debilitated by the absence of players because they tested positive? I see this as probably the best thing they could have done as far as like having everybody in one place and not traveling around. But there are a lot of questions to be answered in this. And that's why I say 100% they start, they're committed to it, but 50-50 on whether they finish. Because how many players is it going to take to get tested positive before you have to shut it down? They shut it down the first time with one player. How many teams are going to have to be just eroded?
Great point.
But for you to say, "Oh, this is not going to work." So
Brooklyn may very well be that team right now.
Yeah, and so I commend them for trying. But even I like Adam Silver a lot because he's honest, and even he said, "You know what? We don't know what's going to happen." He said, "We don't even know what it's going to take to shut it down. They're just going to play it by ear."
Yeah, play it by ear, and that's kind of where we are. Ron Tillery, thank you for joining us. We'll catch up a bunch during the restart down in Orlando for the Orlando bubble, but I'm with you. It's no bubble. I'm also with Jalen Rose. Ron Tillery, I take winning the Powerball tonight, and I never have been. But if you're not rich when you're young, what difference does it make?
I know. Let me just say this too. I've seen a lot of this on Twitter. There's some people complaining about the Grizzlies schedule. Are you kidding me? If I'm a Grizzly or I'm in their front office, I take this schedule all day long. They go in with a format that favors them. They got a 3.5
magic number's 5.
And all they have to do is what they would have had to do with the normal schedule is keep winning. Mm-hmm. The idea was
you don't have to go into the road arenas.
Yeah. And so the idea with 17 games left with a 3.5 game lead that you were locked, to me, is just fool's gold because you had to play New Orleans twice, you had to play Portland twice, you had to play San Antonio, Utah, Milwaukee, I think Houston's in there, and a lot of road games. So that's when the youth of the Grizzlies would have come out. I don't think it would have been a lock that they held on to that lead. But I think this format and this schedule, with only playing New Orleans, San Antonio, Portland once, I think, it's theirs to lose.
Yeah, and if you pretty much
Ron
just win
Tillery-
those first three, you've got it pretty much locked up.
Yeah.
You got it done. Ron Tillery, we'll do this again soon. Thank you for your time today, and look forward to visiting with you again soon. Thank you.
Oh, absolutely. Anytime, guys. Take care.
Appreciate it, Ron.
You got it. Ron Tillery, formerly of the Commercial Appeal, longtime beat writer for the Grizzlies, longtime NBA writer, including days back to Seattle. We round out hour number 2. After this break, you're listening to Sports Time.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Chris Price here for Brian Elder Roofing. The storms we've had over the past several months have been devastating to our communities. The rainy season is ahead. You may have not even noticed the dripping in your attic, water stains throughout your home, or even worse, mold and mildew. Please call Brian Elder Roofing and we will send out our project managers to assess any damage. We will not try to sell you a roof if all you need is a repair. We will measure your roof from outer space. 0% for 60 months, even no payments till 2022 are available with approved credit. If you've noticed missing shingles, water stains, leaks in your roof, call us before you call your insurance company at 867-0303. That's 867-0303, and we will provide a free, thorough inspection of your roof's condition.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Good news. Southland Casino is now back open. That's right. The most spacious casino floor in the Mid-South is ready to welcome you back to the action with live blackjack, roulette, craps, and all your favorite slots. The action kicks off every day at 9 a.m. and rolls all the way till 5 o'clock the next morning.
The NBA restarting and heading into the Disney bubble starting late next week, I guess. Today's the 30th of June. So they're going to be in there the 7th, 8th, and 9th of July. So that's about a week away. And in doing so, things have gotten a little complicated, as we discussed. As you get closer and closer to time, and you see these cases continue to be a problem in Florida, and Florida starting to enact, I think rather late to the party, but trying to enact some measures to slow the spread of the disease. You've seen some folks come up positive, some more folks. DeAndre Jordan and Spencer Dinwiddie both saying that they have contracted the coronavirus. They both are out of the restart. I think DeAndre Jordan is definitely out, and Spencer Dinwiddie is not officially out, but I don't know. I would say given the 2-week time frame plus his love of he's a very financially intelligent guy. I could see him kind of opting out based on all of that. DeAndre Jordan is definitely out, and so you can add 2 more to the mix. Wilson Chandler is also out for the Nets. So the Nets are missing 3 pieces, including in Dinwiddie. Well, potentially 3. Again, he hasn't ruled himself out officially, but we'll see how it goes. But Dinwiddie is a 20-point-a-game guy. He's had a really good year, and so he's he's a big part of what they do. Chandler and DeAndre Jordan less so, but still pieces of the rotation. And Chandler had gone to the starting lineup prior to the quitting of the season based on all this. So not that the Nets were ever were looking like a superstar championship contender, but you can probably go ahead and cancel those bets if you had those bets on the Nets winning the title. Cancel those.
As long as Karis LeVert is still there, they got a shot. He could play them into a game, boy. He's great.
Boy.
And I was going to say no, but seriously, no. But I am serious about Karis LeVert.
He's very good. He's very good.
Like, what's the point of them being there? What's the point of 20 teams being there? It just doesn't make sense. The Nets weren't going to get out of the first round of the playoffs anyway. Why are they down there? 20 teams, I get it. I get trying to make up the money that you stand to lose, and that's why they're down there. But from a safety standpoint and from a legitimate chance to get to the finals or go on a playoff run, why are the Nets there? They got 8 games. They'll play 4 more and be out. They got 12 games. Maybe they win a couple in the playoff series, 13, 14 games. Like that's
I
it.
don't even know if I don't know. I think that might be
Like
optimistic.
That's it. There's no reason for them to be down there outside of the money, and that's why this thing is going to keep going forward, because everybody stands to lose an absurd amount of money on it if they don't play. But from a safety standpoint, from a competition standpoint, it makes no sense for most of these teams to be down there. And think about what we're going to say if something happens, and I don't even want to call it fluky, because it's not. This is so strange that anything can happen. And think about what it's going to mean if a team like that wins the NBA Finals, like the Pacers goes out there and wins the Finals, or the Thunder goes out there and wins the Finals. Are we really going to take that seriously? No.
Well, and again, this is something that our guy Zachary Benny, who we had on last week, the epidemiologist, he was on yesterday with Henry Abbott of True Hoop, and said he had an interesting thing to say about this whole thing. He said, everyone who talks about the outcomes for young people, and these are young elite athletes and all that stuff. I mean, never mind obviously the stuff with the coaching staff and other people that they may come in contact with, but his quote is, "You say these are young elite athletes, they have nothing to really worry about." No, say what you really mean, which is the risk is low enough that that some of these elite athletes are going to have bad outcomes, and that's not enough to deter you from wanting to see them play. Mm-hmm. And that really was what it comes down to. If this bubble or the resumption of activity leads to a handful of people getting seriously sick, because odds are you're seeing tons of cases. Mm-hmm. Hospitalizations are up. In Texas, they were up to the point of ICU where they took the information down because they just, didn't want, I guess, to look bad. I don't know. I mean, they were at 100% ICU usage as of 4 or 5 days ago. And these are not all old people. These are all, many of them, over half of them, in fact, are, under the age of 50 at this point. So, it does happen. Hospitalizations, just because you don't die from something immediately doesn't mean that it's something you want to go ahead and get. A lot of people got polio and didn't die from it, but it also greatly affected their lives in one way or the other for the rest of their lives. Rudy Gobert is still talking about how the guy, he can't smell things. And it's been, 3 months for him. There's a swimmer that was an elite South African swimmer who says that it was unbelievable to lung capacity and just wrecked training and workouts, and just wrecked. This is an absolute top level, Olympic level swimmer. That's somebody that's got the lung capacity that would be, among the top 0.00001% in the world, and said it wrecked him completely. So what we're saying when you come back is, okay, we're okay with, a dozen people around the country getting real sick from this thing, or having, significant long-term outcomes. And there may be others that may get other outcomes we don't know. But I'm just saying that from what we even know right now, odds are that it would be a number in that neighborhood with basketball, and then a number in, significantly more than that with college football, and so on and so forth. So, you got to say what it is. Like, just say, look, at the end of the day, I think, entertainment is more important than keeping those folks 100% safe. And that's why I can't really blame someone who says, I'm just going to opt out of this thing, because it's not worth it to me.
Yeah, and I agree wholeheartedly. And it's just not, man. Like, what is it going to take? And this is the other part of that conversation. What's going to have to happen for them to decide, it is no longer worth it? It's how many people are going to have to be seriously hospitalized because of the coronavirus complications? How many cases are going to have to, because there are going to be cases inside that bubble? How many cases are going to have to be in the bubble before you decide, nope, is no longer worth it? That is what is needs to be answered. You're thinking about all these various states. You brought up Arizona and Texas and Florida and what they're going through, and we're talking about the NBA